Observing one's thoughts in a detached way is a first step towards releasing them. Through observing them without an emotional reaction, one can begin to see that one is not the thoughts he thinks. And that's true. If I have a hate thought in my mind, but I believe it, so I'm not just observing it. If I have a hate thought in my mind, I'm going to feel the emotional reaction or the emotional effect of believing that thought, and that is hate. I will feel hate, and therefore I will feel very connected to the thought and the emotion. I will think we are one, and I will think that's who I am. I am the one that is hating that one. That's my identity now. I am the one who hates her. I'm having thoughts about hating her. I feel myself hating her. That's who I am. I am the one who hates her. And as long as I am the one who hates her, I'm obviously also separate from her. So this is clinging to the false identity. And what Holy Spirit says here is observing one's thoughts in a detached way is a first step towards releasing them. Through observing them without an emotional reaction, one can begin to see that one is not the thoughts he thinks. So if I see a hate thought in my mind, and by the way, I do this all of the time now, so it's not at all impossible. I can see a hate thought in my mind that says, I hate that person because blah, 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 whatever. But I can just observe it without believing it, and I will not feel the emotional reaction. I will not feel the hate, because I did not believe the thought. I did not identify it. Then, I do not see myself as one with the thought. I do not see myself as the thoughts I think. So learning to see the thoughts that show up in the mind without believing them, without identifying with them, is a first step to letting the thoughts go. Now often, however, when we start doing this, what we accidentally do is we judge ourselves for even having the thoughts in our head. And what we don't realize then is we're actually still identifying with them. If I judge myself for having the hate thought in my head, although I'm not feeling the effect of hate, I didn't believe it in that way, but I'm feeling a different effect now. I'm feeling guilt. That is still maintaining separateness. And many of us will fall into that trap when we're first learning to observe. So Holy Spirit continues and says, the second step is to let the thoughts go as meaningless. That is, to see the thoughts as the nothingness that they are and have no investment in them. This is another level of detachment, a step away from observing. When one observes one's thoughts, there is still a feeling that they are my thoughts, although there has also been a decision to remain detached from them. When one dismisses the thoughts as meaningless, as nothing, there is no longer a sense of ownership, for how can one feel he is the owner of nothing? So again, the way this works is I see the hate thought in the mind. I don't believe it, so I don't feel hate. But I also don't see the hate thought as anything important. Before, when I was mistakenly observing, but still seeing the hate thought as a bad thought, and judging my thought for having the thought and feeling guilt, well, if I'm calling it a bad thought, I'm saying it does have meaning. Right? If I call it a bad thought, I am giving it a meaning. So instead of calling it a bad thought that I shouldn't have, I just see it as completely meaningless. It's totally unimportant. One thing that Holy Spirit said to Laurent one time when speaking through me, he called thoughts wisps of air. It's a wisp of air. It's just nothing. And so if I can move to both seeing the thoughts, observing them, and seeing them as meaningless, then I'm really not identifying with the thought, and I can easily let them go. Holy Spirit continues, from this, a space is created in the mind. This is a space that says, I do not know what I am. And with this, an opening is created to realize that which you are. This is the experience of oneness. In your world, this may be called the experience of enlightenment. This is where your real joy comes from. It comes from the experience that cannot be denied because you have chosen to accept it. So again, when I believe the thought, or even when I judge the thought, I think I am the thinker. And if I think I am the thinker, then I think I know who I am. Right? I think I know who I am. I'm completely wrong, but I think I know who I am. When I observe the thought and let it go as meaningless, I no longer think. Jasmine's getting upset now because Jamie won't hush. Oh, hold on one second. Jamie, come here, my love. Come here. I may have to go check on this because Jasmine's trying to sleep, and I'm sure you can hear in the background that Jamie is getting quite loud. Let me just finish this quickly. Can I finish it quickly? No, I can't. You know what? I can't finish this quickly. That would be unfair to this message. It would be better just to stop here, and then next time we can actually begin at the beginning again.